AITA for cooking food while my roommate's girlfriend was here and offering her some. I am a 21-year-old male from the South. I grew up in New Orleans and Texas. My mom runs a catering business and the majority of clients were either at home in Louisiana or in Texas. I add this to say that I grew up cooking and helping my mom cook for the business. I was frying chicken and catfish when I could reach the stove and making gumbo and buttermilk biscuits at a very young. I'm currently in culinary school right now. I've lived in a rented house on the East Coast with my roommate, a 22-year-old man, for a year and a half. He's not a friend or anything. We just linked up because we both needed roommates in the area. He's good to live with and we watch shows and movies together. We hang out and go out for drinks sometimes. I always make friends easy because of being from the South and doing customer service related things since I was a kid. I know how to talk and charm and listen to folk despite being naturally more in the introverted spectrum. My roommate has been seeing his girlfriend, 20 years old, for like 6 months. I've met her before and seen her in passing. Roommate and his GF had a 2-week break from school things. She still lives at her parents', so she decided to stay here the whole 2 weeks. I was just doing things as I would normally do. It got weird at first when I was about to go mow the lawn and the roommate stopped me and said he wanted to mow. I usually always mow. A couple of days later, I was outside washing my car. I asked both of them if they wanted me to do theirs. She looked like she was going to agree, but he looked at her angrily, so they declined. I cook pretty frequently at home as well and usually let my roommate have some. So anytime I'd make some, I would say that they could have some and this would get him pissed. Weeks prior, when she was here and we were all talking, she mentioned this specific kind of cheesecake that she really likes. So I made and sent out a group text that everyone could have it. My roommate got upset. I don't see anything as overstepping a boundary, as this is how I treat him and all guests. The other day he told me how annoying it was to hear his GF talk about how good your roommate can fresh baked bread is. I'm not trying to make him look bad or anything. This is simply how I was raised. If I bake 2 loaves of bread, I'm gonna leave it out for the house to eat. Edit. The cheesecake is just common courtesy type thing to me. When his parents come over, I make pound cake because they like it. If a guest is coming, you get or make what they like. Nothing odd about picking up their favorite chips or making some tea when guests arrive. Just how I was raised. Edit. Wow, this has blown up. Just want to say we generally have a good roommate relationship. We're not best friends, but it's friendly enough. The only change has been when his GF is here. So lol, no, I am not looking for new roommates, to be adopted or to move, but thanks. Here is some more things that upset him. I went to the grocery store and asked if anyone needed anything. I was frying chicken and offered the first best pieces out the oil to them. I changed the oil to my own car. I used a smoker in the backyard to make brisket. I grill and smoke in the backyard and needed a piece of wood cut into a certain way to hold something up. I cut and nailed some wood together in the garage. Feels like I can't even exist while she is here. Final edit. I tend to see the good and best in people. So I was not seeing him as being very insecure and was trying to look at this in a more positive light. But he just texted me and said that I greet his kin too kind of a way and it's annoying that I say be safe. When she leaves the house, I say this to him and everyone when they tell me they are going somewhere. He sent me a long text detailing it's bad that I look her in the eyes when she is talking to me. Maybe it is time for a new roommate.
Am I the a-hole for going to lunch with my fiance's granny? I've been sitting fuming about this for a few hours now and thought I'd come here for some opinions. We got engaged at the end of last year, together for 5 years. We don't have a lot to do with his parents due to the fact he'd been no contact with them for 10 years before I met him and had only been back talking to them for 2 years when I met him. His other brother is also no contact with his parents and his sister is the golden child. He asked them to lunch to announce the engagement and they said they were too busy but told him congrats on the phone. We invited them to our engagement party a few months ago and they didn't show up. None of his family did. They said they would but they just no-showed on the day and gave no reason why. We didn't contact them to ask why. His grandma was the only one who declined the invite formally, citing the fact she couldn't manage the stairs. She asked us to visit the week after to tell her all about it. When we were there, she asked for a copy of one of the photos of us for her wall. Since then, His gran has come by our house a few times, but we've been at work, so I reached out last month and arranged to meet her for lunch and said I would bring the photo and update her on the wedding plans. She chose the venue and we are meeting next week. My partner is at work and won't be coming. I didn't even mention it to him until Friday night. Today I got a text from his sister asking me how the wedding planning was going, and while I was typing a reply, my partner texts me saying his mom has texted him saying she's heard I'm having lunch with Granny and he needs to ring them. Coordinated texts. Okay. He calls and she basically says it's weird. I don't have any right to speak to the grandma without others in the family present. No other reason, just, it's weird. She asks him why I'm making things hard and he says he doesn't see a problem. The conclusion of this conversation when he comes in from the garden is, "Phew, I've sorted it. You need to text my grandma and tell her that you need to work and cancel and everything will be all better." I said no, told him to tell his mother to go tell grandma she can't meet me. Or I can tell grandma that I've been told I can't meet her, so need to cancel. This isn't acceptable. They don't want Granny to know they are canceling lunch behind her back. He's telling me not to go. I told him his mother can tell him what to do but can't tell me what to do, and I'm going. I've spoken to his mother maybe 4 times in my life. What is going on here? Am I the asshole for going to lunch? Is it weird? Also, just to add, the grandma is totally in control and not crazy. She drives, plays golf, goes out for drinks with her friends, and lives independently. She initially offered to pay for reception drinks for the wedding, but we declined as we have fully paid for the wedding and don't need help. His parents know we have money. Am I not seeing something? I might be the asshole because we never fight and now we are not speaking over this. Mini update, just had a text from the granny basically saying she's too busy to go out at the moment and needs to cancel. It's only 9:30 a.m. here, and maybe we can arrange it again once my partner is back and available. I replied saying, no problem. Mother-in-law phoned yesterday and asked we did not meet without somebody else present, so this will solve that issue. I hope everything is fine with you and I am sorry if this has caused you any issues. X. Tiny edit. I've just managed 10 minutes on the phone with him since he's still working away and is busy. He's spoken again to his sister and asked them to clarify. Weird, as that's what I was so hung up on last night. His parents say it's weird because they don't know me. And they need to get to know me before Granny does, and they couldn't come to the engagement party since they didn't know me. He told them that they used to be invited to every event we had, BBQs at our house, birthday meals, Boxing Day lunch, etc., and they always declined. So it's their fault they don't know me. He also, thankfully, told them that it's been so long now that it doesn't really matter if they get to know me and hate me or if they never see me again. He's nearly 40 and it really doesn't matter what they think. She asked why I had stopped bothering to send cards, flowers, etc. for occasions. I sent them to the family from him. They never had my name on. And he told her that after the engagement party he told me to stop as it wasn't my responsibility. He did tell me that actually a while ago, but I was too polite, but the no-show at the engagement party made me think fuck him. Anyway, he thought he had solved it because apparently she apologized and said she'll get more involved. Obviously I still don't want that, and I've told him I need him to communicate that to her loud and clear with no hearts and butterflies. Trank says that she no longer wishes to form a relationship with any of you due to the way she has been made to feel and from the way she perceives our family to be. Never try to contact her again. If he is not this clear before the end of the week, then there will be more issues. Therapy is still happening. He said he'd try and call again tomorrow. I'm sure there will be a fallout from this, as this was literally a 10-minute chat and he was mostly just saying sorry.
Am I the a-hole for leaving a Starbucks midway through an intervention about me? So I'm 21 and I've been kicked from my friend group. To give some context, I've been in this friend group since high school around 2018 to 2019 and have been friends with 2 of them since freshman year. Throughout the years I've been with them, they've noticed a lot of little toxic traits I've had, and didn't really tell me a lot of them. So around the end of March, beginning of April, they started avoiding me and just telling me that they're too busy to hang out. For 2 weeks things was dead silent with me and them. I actually thought they were just too busy to hang out. but they were actually planning to talk to me about my problems with an intervention. After the 2 weeks, they shoot me a text saying to meet at this Starbucks with the specific address of it and at 4. So I asked if we weren't friends, cause they were avoiding me and they only replied with, "We need to talk." So I did, and all of them were sitting at a table in the middle of the Starbucks waiting for me. Once I sat down, they started to list out the problems they've had with me, like not being open enough with my feelings, having double standards with touching things, or zoning out when I'm not in the conversations and not to join them. I'm not going to lie. I did feel uncomfortable talking about issues about me in public. I didn't realize these problems, but after them saying it, I really feel like a jerk once seeing it. Now here's where I feel like I would be the asshole in the situation and further. Midway through them talking, I just straight up left because I felt hurt and didn't want to continue that conversation. Right now I'm slowly trying to fix the issue one at a time so new people I meet won't deal with it. Another 2 weeks go by, and I felt terrible about how I was to them in general. One friend that knew the group and my situation, that friend told me that the friend group is still willing to be friends. After feeling bad about myself, I tried to text one of the friends to set up a talk. I asked if it was fine to meet up and talk at his or my place. He replied by saying he would rather talk at Starbucks or coffee place, and I tried to compromise with a park not too far from our places. He didn't like the compromise, saying that he didn't feel safe or comfortable to talk to me unless it's somewhere he liked and that wasn't for negotiation. For me, I told him I didn't feel comfortable to talk in a public space like a coffee shop, and I wouldn't like to be in the same situation as before. Then it got a little emotional for me that I won't go into or repeat. I did still wanted to be friends with one other person in the group, so I tried to message them and he responded with basically saying that, if you want to apologize, you have to say sorry to everyone in the group. You ended our friendship the moment you left the Starbucks. So far that's where my story with my ex-friends is at. Am I the asshole for being the start and end of my situation? Edit 1. When I said touching stuff, meant in more of grabbing a book off the shelf, borrowing a hammer, and etc. without permission. Edit 2. One of the bigger reasons why I posted here was because I don't understand why I'm unsafe to them. I've never physically harmed them, yelled at them angrily, nor attacked them with personal insults. Personal